I want to say something nice about Mel before he comes out. I'd rather have a drink with him in his hotel room tonight than with Bill Cosby.
Ricky Gervais turned Mel Gibson into a public punching bag for over a decade at the Golden Globes.
I imagine Mel Gibson wanted to murder me.
Absolutely.
You don't need to leave your drink here. I'll put you to sleep another way, son of a...
But in giving Hollywood A-listers every chance to punch down and laugh at an outcast like Mel Gibson, Ricky Gervais exposed the false morality of these Hollywood elites like no one else could. Subscribe to Elites Exposed for more, and just take a look at how it went down.
How you doing, all right? Cheers. I've had a couple. I'm not going to lie to you. Now listen up. I haven't offended anyone. I didn't mean, it's not my fault. There's a lot of powerful people here, so if I said it's... Honestly, I like a drink as much as the next man. Unless the next man is Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson, come on. No, come on. I'm not going to have a go at him. He's been through a lot. And I mustn't mention Mel Gibson this year. Not his private life, his politics, his recent films. A few years ago, on this show, I made a joke about Mel Gibson getting a bit drunk and saying a few unsavoury things. We've all done it. I wasn't judging him, but now I find myself in the awkward position of having to introduce him again. Listen, I'm sure it's embarrassing for both of us, okay? And I blame NBC for this terrible situation. Mel blames... We know who Mel blames. Listen, I still feel a bit bad for it, right? Mel's forgotten all about it, apparently. That's what drinking does. No. I want to say something nice about Mel before he comes out. Oh yeah, okay, here you go. I'd rather have a drink with him in his hotel room tonight than with Bill Cosby. Please welcome Mel Gibson.
Yeah. I love seeing Ricky once every 3 years because it reminds me to get a colonoscopy. Well, if you'd left your drink here, you don't need to leave your drink here. I'll put you to sleep another way, son of a...
Listen.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
I think we all want the answer to this.
Mm-hmm.
What the f*** does sugar even mean?
I don't know. Ask the guy that said it. It wasn't me.
Now remember, this was at a time back in 2016 when Hollywood's true rotten core had not yet boiled over in public, and the industry had maybe some semblance of power to demonize and isolate people like Mel Gibson over some leaked phone rants or DUI controversies. I mean, I don't need to say more when you even see the likes of Harvey Weinstein in the audience, having the gall to laugh and rub those jibes in Mel Gibson's face. And for Ricky? Surprisingly, I actually don't hold this against him too much, because I think I know why he did this. Ricky being a British entrant into the industry doesn't exactly come from the inner Hollywood circle. And secondly, he's almost come to define himself as the villain to the industry, or at least as the guy holding up the mirror to Hollywood's hypocrisy for nearly 2 decades. And maybe Mel Gibson just happened to be easy comic material at the time.
I imagine Mel Gibson wanted to murder me.
Absolutely.
But you know, and but I didn't do anything. Again, with Mel Gibson, I didn't say anything really bad. There was much worse things I could have done. It was fun. It's, you know, you do about their public behaviour.
How's things with were you and Ricky? Was everything cool when you left
Everything's fantastic.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the Globes?
Maybe Mel had a bit of a cry after that. Maybe you hurt his feelings.
Oh, wow. I'd hate to think that.
But for Ricky, this was the first in a long arc of exposing the industry from the inside out for the next decade, making Mel Gibson's controversies pale in comparison. That's exactly what he did with the bombshell bit he did back in 2020 at the Golden Globes. And I think he's played a part in how these last 10 years have been the final nail in the coffin for any respect or credibility these elites had left in the public eye. It started with how Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby's cases exposed a dark underbelly of exploitation in the industry, and then every next year was a cascade to the industry's moral collapse. Big names like Ellen DeGeneres revealed their true selves, and then the Kevin Spacey scandals, the whole Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp trial, Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, the film Sound of Freedom being systemically silenced for what it exposed. And then, of course, in the last few years, we saw bombshells around the Epstein story, Hollywood's political censorship, Disney's grooming allegations against child actors, and a whole lot more. In hindsight, it just feels so revolting to me that these ugly Hollywood elites would clutch their pearls and act holier than thou when bashing Mel Gibson, and absolutely nobody's buying it anymore. Because despite the friction between Ricky and Mel you see here, he almost did Mel Gibson a favor by showing him how the industry elites would happily kick a man when he's already down, and how it's not worth trying to redeem himself in front of an industry that would sling mud at you to distract from their own dark reality. Even though at one point, another big Hollywood name with his own story of comeback and redemption actually tried to rekindle Mel Gibson's career and reputation in the industry back in 2011. And that guy is Robert Downey Jr.
He cast me in the lead of a movie that was actually developed for him, and he kept a roof over my head, and he kept food on the table. And most importantly, he said that if I accepted responsibility for my wrongdoings, and if I embraced that part of my soul that was ugly, hugging the cactus, he calls it, he said that if I hugged the cactus long enough, I'd become a man of some humility, and that my life would take on a new meaning. And I did, and it worked. All he asked in return was that someday I help the next guy in some small way. It's reasonable to assume that at the time he didn't imagine the next guy would be him. I humbly ask that you join me, unless you are completely without sin, in which case you picked the wrong industry, in forgiving my friend his trespasses, offering him the same clean slate you have me, and allowing him to continue his great and ongoing contribution to our collective art without shame. He's hugged the cactus long enough.
And perhaps having gone through a similar arc of fall and redemption in Hollywood, I think our DJ knew that the people seated in front of him don't really sit on a higher moral cushion. At least not high enough to look down on a man like Mel Gibson, who, despite his faults, is a much better man than most of Hollywood would ever be. But tell me in the comments what you think about him, and subscribe to Elites Exposed for more.